This is pretty impressive. I like this.
Yes. Cool.
All right.
Definitely got to do this.
Recording.
We should do this right away.
Welcome to a new edition of the Bourbon Guild review show. Today, we got 4 bottles up here. What the heck is going on?
Elijah.
So,
You're doing a lot of drinking.
yeah, no, well, not really. This is up here for demonstrative purposes today because what we're doing is we're going to be reviewing this bottle right down here in the end, but we wanted to show you guys, give a little bit of a more in-depth introduction today, show you guys why there's a little bit of controversy about what's going on down here on this end. So, flashback to a couple years ago, this is what you saw in the stores when you bought Elijah Craig. Now, this happens to be the big 1.75 liter bottle. But the 750 mil looked the same, had this nice big red 12 on the front, so you knew that you were buying a 12-year-old aged small batch bourbon. Fantastic, great bang for the buck. This usually sets you back for the regular size bottle about $30. I think the MSRP is about 35, but you typically find it under that. So this is what it used to look like, and then all of a sudden, last year sometime, beginning of 2016, I think it was, this happened. All of a sudden, the big 12 is gone from the front of the bottle and you got a barrel there. So you may think, well, what the heck? Is it no longer a 12-year bourbon? You turn around to the back and you read the literature on the back. And it says, perfection takes time, and at 12 years old, Elijah Craig has made it worth the wait. So it's still a 12-year. It's still a 12-year age statement on the back. Okay, we're all good. Then, lo and behold, this bottle comes out. And actually, these were on the shelves at the same time in a lot of retailers. Look exactly the same on the front. Turn to the back, and you notice a very subtle difference. Now it says perfection takes time, and Elijah Craig has made it worth the wait. Gone is the 12-year age statement. We just went from a 12-year age bourbon to a no age statement. And then beginning of 2017, I think it was, they changed the bottle design, new bottle design here, and this is what we're going to be reviewing today. But just to give you guys a quick summary, these 2 bottles here, same juice inside. 12-year age, small batch.
You can actually tell from the color.
Yeah, the color.
Yeah, it's very subtle. I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera.
You can see it.
Yeah.
But there is a difference. If you look at these 2 bottles close up, this is a little bit lighter. It's a little bit darker. So we're not going to be reviewing these. What we're going to be reviewing today is the new bottle, new juice, Elijah Craig, small batch. And what do you guys think of the new bottle?
So I wonder, if is this a reaction to the controversy, or?
Well, I think that they needed to show, all right, this is a rebranding, and they did this to basically be able to meet demand, right? It's a lot of demand for a good priced small batch bourbon. So I understand why they did it, and now it's it's no longer a 12-year, but it's like a blend, right?
Can we see the previous bottle for a second? I'm gonna demonstrate something here where in the font and the layout of the old bottle versus the new bottle, based on other bourbons that we've seen on this show and in the stores, the way the new bottle is laid out makes it look like a higher end bourbon with the little handwritten sticker at the bottom.
Definitely.
And the old font artistry and the simpler label of the old one looks like a cheaper bourbon.
This looks like Angel's Envy.
Yeah, exactly.
The bottle shape.
Smaller version.
Woodford.
Yeah.
So I like it. There's less paper on it. You can see the color of the bourbon a little more.
Yeah.
You're right. Like the little stickers and stuff like that.
It's more modernized for what
I think it's fine. I think it's a bottle design. It looks good.
Yeah. This is kind of like, there's been some controversy in different, places like Maker's Mark, for example. There was that big backlash when they changed the proof, and people are like, what are you doing? And then they kind of said, okay, well, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, well, Jack Daniels, right? They did the same thing, right?
Right. So the demand is going up, so we are seeing some changes, but the question is, does it change the taste?
Let's taste this.
Do we think it's still worth the price?
We'll do in a future episode. We'll do a head-to-head and all that. But let's crack this open. While I crack it open, you guys can get a close-up of the bottle, and we'll get a little bit of background here from Dylan.
Right. So it's made by Heaven Hill. It was aged 12 years, but now it's a blend. They say anywhere between 8 to 12, but I think most likely it's 8 to 10. The mash bill is 75 corn, 13 rye, 12 malted barley. And, Elijah was a Baptist preacher. This was an interesting history because he's
a moonshiner, right?
Yeah, yeah, kind of a moonshiner, and
Reverend.
he was credited as kind of like the father of bourbon, right? Almost, because he started the charred oak barrel technique.
Yeah, so you've heard the story, right?
Right.
The old wives' tale.
That it was on accident.
Right. There was a fire,
Right.
and some of the barrels got charred, and the juice inside was still okay, the moonshine, but it ended up getting all this wonderful flavor from the char. Yeah, it's
Right, so
kind of a cool
that's
story.
how they started.
Who knows if it's actually true, though.
Right, and so like we went through that. This is a newer branding, and this is the new approach.
Yeah, well, let's give it a taste, guys. And actually, as we get into that, I just want to point something out here. The bottle redesign has a really, really wide lip here, and actually made pouring it easier. I think.
Yeah.
Not as
noticed
messy.
that.
So,
Yeah.
hey, good. So
Top notches for that. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's give this a little taste, guys. See how it is.
So I wanted to ask you guys: have you tried the 12-year
Yeah.
here? I have.
Yeah.
How about
I
you
have
guys?
not.
It's been a little while since I've had any.
Okay, so this will be new to you guys, and for us, it'll be just kind of a comparison.
Yeah, and if you're new to the Bourbon Guild, we got a 10-point grading system. So we give up to 2 points for aroma, 3 points for complexity, 2 points for drinkability, 3 points for uniqueness, and we provide a bonus point for value. So value represents for its availability and price. So what do you guys think?
I'm not picking a lot up on the
Yeah.
old nose, but that's par for the course for me.
I feel like, I don't want the previous experiences with the 12-year to cloud the judgment here, but I don't know, it's kind of difficult. I think it's harder for me for the value.
Right. Well, let's
Because-
talk about that for a second, because MSRP $35. We picked this up at at a wholesale food mart type place, $22.99. I mean, that's dirt cheap.
Yeah.
And especially, the 12-year, if you used to get it at that price, it was uncanny. Even a 8 to 10-year, if that's what this is now, small batch, that's a pretty, just on the pure numbers, that's pretty impressive.
So sorry, MSRP was $35?
MSRP is $35. We picked it up for $22.99, so about 34% discount. And that's not uncommon. I mean,
Yeah.
you typically will find this right around $25. You shouldn't pay $35 for it. I mean, you can find it definitely for less than that. Anybody getting a hint of popcorn?
Yeah. I was going to say butter, popcorn. Yeah.
So we talk about uniqueness, and I think we should also point out that, we've talked about it before on the show, but, uniqueness of the story, the fact that this is Elijah Craig,
Right.
the fact that this is a new bottle design, all that stuff can kind of factor in if you do find it unique. It's not enough to bump you a half a point even, but it's enough to kind of put you over the edge.
I gotta tell you though, I think the 12-year is kind of clouding this score a little bit, because I can't help but compare it to the previous kind of, iteration of this line. I mean, that's kind of the difficult part. So I'm really curious to hear, Jules and Ben, their thoughts on this whole process, because
For sure.
I mean, it's good.
Yeah, it's good.
I
Keep in
like
mind,
it.
I don't know if I mentioned this, but 94 proof, 47% alcohol. Again, at that price point, most everything you find has been watered down to 80 proof. So,
Yeah.
all right, you guys have your scores?
Yep.
Do.
All right, let's start down there, Ben.
Lock it in.
Did we introduce ourselves? I think I just jumped right in.
No.
Anyway, I'm Dutch. We've got Jules,
Dylan.
and Ben Richards.
The Butcher Bakersfield.
So, Ben, what do you got? You still doing math?
Yeah, thank you. I have a 5.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. I got a 6.
6 for Dylan.
I gave it a 6.5.
I had a 6.5, but I changed it to a 6 as I tasted it again.
There you
Yeah.
Look
go.
at that, right on the money.
Man.
Wow.
So let's start with aroma.
So it taught us nothing.
taught us
For the people who
nothing.
tried it for the first time.
Yeah.
or we kind of have the same frame of reference.
Right.
That's true.
Okay, so aroma, I picked up that popcorn a couple minutes into it, and I think that kind of pushed me to a 1. I got something there,
Disneyland popcorn or
just regular old
Redenbacher?
like
Disneyland
oil
is
pop
special.
or butter
Disneyland
pop.
popcorn is special.
So
Yeah.
what'd you have for aroma?
I had a 0.5, but I'd bring it up to a 1. I did get a butter, popcorn, caramel, toffee, a cinnamon, like a spice kind of. It's pleasing. It's not bad. It's not, anything special to me, but it's good. It's there for sure.
There's
some
a
decent
distinct butteriness to the taste
yeah,
too.
there's
Yeah.
some butter.
Back
Like
note of
definitely
butter.
a buttery sweetness to it. So
Yeah. Dylan, how'd you do on aroma?
I think I got a 1. Just like middle of the road. Middle of the road. I mean, it's I picked up a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of caramel. Just kind of a touch of the butter that you guys were talking about. So it's nothing amazing, but it's not crap either. So it's kind of middle for me.
And Jules?
Yeah, same here. Middle down the road, just 1 out of 2.
Yeah,
So.
same for me. Like I said, that popcorn is what kind of put me over. I think the popcorn really what it is it's the smell of corn and kind of that butteriness that kind of makes you think of that.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, let's move on to complexity. I actually originally had this at a 1.5, but dropped it down to a 1. It felt, there's...
Now, do you think that's because of the 12?
I don't know. That's maybe
that's...
kind of unconsciously I'm screwing myself over here. But I mean, I definitely... There's a lot of flavors here, but there's a bit of a spiciness that I don't really think is a lot of flavor. It's just a spiciness that kind of kicks through, and that's kind of why I knocked it down a little bit. But what do you guys think?
I'm the opposite in terms of the reason, or for the score. Same for the reasoning though. So like I thought, because I got that, so I got the butteriness, when I'm taking it, but then I also got a different flavor when I, as I ingest it more, and so that's why for me I give it a 2 out of 3.
Did you ingest it?
So yeah.
You don't drink your bourbon, you ingest your bourbon.
So like it just settled in more, and I don't know, it felt like it opened up in terms of complexity.
Dylan? Complexity?
1.5.
Down the middle.
So again, down the middle.
Yeah.
I feel like it's, it has, I don't think it's like Basil Hayden. I mean, I like Basil Hayden, but that's kind of a 1 note, maybe 1 or 2 notes. This one has a little more than that. It has a little bit, like I said, the caramel.
Yeah.
So
I could be talked into a 1.5 on this. I think I'm really right in between the two, but I did knock it down, and maybe I did that unconsciously because I'm thinking,
I'm telling you.
The 12 year I think I remember it being a little more complex.
Right, right. That's the thing.
That's where I haven't tried the 12 year yet. I went with a 1.5, and the reason is similar to what you guys are saying. My thing was that it was there were notes of it, but it just seemed like it all kind of blended together. It wasn't really distinct, and
it's a little muddy.
Yeah, it was very muddy. Like
muddled.
It's flavorful, but it's not. There's not an overt sweetness. There's a little bit of spice. There's a little bit of that butter popcorn taste, but it almost. I know this may be heresy, but it tastes almost like artificial. It tastes like if I had like a bourbon syrup I added to like something.
It's like
essence of bourbon.
Like an essence of bourbon. Like it's
like
not
bourbon
superbly distinct, but it's there. Sure. But it kind of all muddles together.
So essence of bourbon would be pretty awesome.
Ode to bourbon.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. Jumping on to drinkability, how'd you do, Ben? What'd you think?
I did a 1.5. I think it's very drinkable. Yeah. I think it'd be great for an old fashioned where you want that essence of bourbon, where you want a bourbon flavor. It's not.
But perfectly drinkable straight on the rocks.
I added a little bit of water to kind of simulate that ice cube after a couple minutes, and it's I know, and it's good. Yeah.
All right.
No, I agree. 1.5. I think it's really drinkable. I think it's even with this iteration, I think it's still good. I would still buy it for the price and everything, and it's very drinkable.
Nice. Yeah. Well,
Jules?
Raise your glasses, boys. I'm 1.5.
Yeah, I was too. So we all agree
right there.
Unanimity.
All right.
Wow.
That was way funnier than it should have been.
Exactly.
1.5. I had the same. I mean, it's up there.
I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun.
What'd you have for uniqueness?
I had a 1.5 as well.
Really?
To me, middle of the road. I mean, there's
Same here.
like you said,
Uniqueness 1.5.
it tastes like bourbon. It's like essence of bourbon. It's there. Everything that you want to have in a bourbon, it has those flavors, but it's not.
Okay,
It's not any more interesting.
But
or
would you
any
say
less
that with Woodford? Because some people would say Woodford is kind of the quintessential.
I think
bourbon
that
these
Woodford.
days.
I think I would rank bourbon Woodford higher as a unique in it and distinctive bourbon to taste.
I agree.
See, this is why it's interesting because you have the older bourbon, right? Like with long history, which technically you can argue that's actual bourbon,
Right.
But that definition is changing, right? And,
Very true.
and Ben is saying,
Well, it's because like bozos like us get up here and start talking about all the nuance that This tastes like bourbon. Well, yeah, it is bourbon. It should taste like bourbon.
It should.
And I mean, I guess that's kind of the irony is like when we think of something, this tastes like bourbon, it's middle of the road now. Like we need something interesting to make it above a 1.5.
Exactly.
Right.
I gave it a 1 because I don't think it's terribly
Uniqueness?
unique. Yeah, but I don't think it's terribly unique, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it tastes like what it tastes like. But, out of the others that we've tried and, sampled and even, at bars, different things I've tried, there's, I mean, even with the 94 proof, there's not much alcohol burn. There is a bit, but even that, it was compared to something like Basil Hayden, which was 80 proof. I think that burns a little more, but not.
Yeah, this is 94 proof. This is like nothing.
That's good.
It's like
Yeah,
water.
for 94 proof.
I don't think it was
So
very
what did you
unique.
guys have for uniqueness?
It's like water.
Dylan, what did you have for uniqueness?
Uniqueness, I got 1.5.
Okay. Down. Same
So
here.
it's-
1.5.
Okay, so we all have the same. You had a 1. I mean, we're all right in the same
It's not
round.
terribly out of the. Yeah. Okay.
I got nothing left.
I'm all out.
I'm all out.
Wow.
All right, final category bonus
This
for
is our
value.
bonus value.
I mean, to me, this category, this is what I mean when I think of value.
Really? Okay.
Because I gave this a 6. A 6 is a pretty damn good rating, especially for a bourbon. This cost us $22, $23.
Yeah.
At that price, find me another thing that I would rate as a 6. You'd be hard pressed.
Well, it's interesting that you
so
bring that up
a full 1 for value. For me.
because I think the distiller was going through that process. They were saying, do we raise the price or keep it at that price and take off the age? Because I mean, I'm sure that was a tough decision.
Right, and we won't know
And-
until we try it head to head.
Well,
Right.
aside from the age, was there any change to their distilling process?
No,
barrel.
it's just they're taking it out
Okay.
earlier. That's
Okay.
what it is because the demand is higher. So
Right.
that if they waited another say 4 years, it puts a lot of strain.
So I had a 1 for value.
You had a 1.
I gave it a 0.5, so just down the middle.
I gave it a 0.5 because
I give it a 0.5. I don't. For
Wow.
22, I don't think it's. I
mean, find me something.
I agree.
Let me make my point. I
starting
think
to sell me
we're comparing this to Woodford, which is about twice the
yeah,
price. Oh,
that's
not
that's
quite.
where I got my 0.5.
Okay.
Okay, so let me ask you. So they say that it's anywhere between 8 to 12, but most likely it's 8 to 10. So let's say, can you tell me any other bourbon on, with this price range that's 8 year that is as good or better?
Eagle Rare.
Does anyone have?
There's not a lot. But
there's not a lot.
I think that's a
But
great
Eagle
the
value.
Rare
only
is still
problem is,
33. It's still the Woodford price.
Because the thing is, I feel like my number is definitely tainted because I think I would give the 12 year
A 1.
a 1.
Okay.
Definitely a 1 because that blows everything out of the
I mean, you
water.
guys make a good case for the
blows
0.5.
everything
You guys
out
make
of
a
the
good
water.
case.
Yeah, so
I don't think it's. I think for the. If you're looking specifically at $22, sure, I'll give it a 1. There's other factors
Man,
that gave me a 0.5.
That's fair. I mean, it's versatile. Like you could drink this neat, you could drink it on the rocks, you could mix it, and you wouldn't feel stupid because you only spent.
wow, but you
Fair
would
enough.
not mix a
Yeah, but you could make a damn good cocktail.
That's why I bring up the old fashioned. I think that would be a great old fashioned bourbon. I think
I take the less than 4 year Hudson.
Now maybe I'm an a-hole, but like I'm not shopping for $22
I think that just
bottle
convinced me.
bourbon.
I think I might actually even bump that up to a 1.
All right.
I think I'm changing my score.
You're creating the fiasco that was
Yeah,
Willet Pot
that's what
Reserve.
we do.
Controversy.
Fiasco that was Willet Pot Reserve.
Controversy continues.
Controversy
Right?
about the bottle, about the age statement, now controversy about changing our scores. Come
That's
on.
right.
Well, let's get our totals here, guys.
how
Ben,
we
what'd
do
you
it.
have?
I had a 5.
A 5,
A 6.
6,
I feel like bringing balance to the force. 7 out of 10.
7, and I had a 6 as well. So we have, drum roll please, a 6.
Dang, there you go.
A 6.
Yeah, I think that's a good number. I like that.
agree.
It's a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, 6 out of
6 out of 10 for a
For the price,
$23.
$23.
$22. I think that's a win.
So I think we can officially label this as a awesome bargain bourbon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No questions asked. If you see this, you need something to stock at your party, you got 20, 30 people coming over, you want to get a couple bottles of bourbon that nobody, even a bourbon snob is going to look at this and say, hey, you got Elijah Craig. That's a good bourbon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So solid pick. All right, guys. So on behalf of the Bourbon Guild, thanks for watching.
Yeah, guys, tell us what you guys think. So, comment down below. Are we right on the mark with you guys? Or are we completely off? Let us know.
Are we idiots?
Yeah.
Are we just complete idiots? Who knows? And we are biased, 12-year drinkers here. But yeah, and if you guys like what we saw, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe. Keep informed with new Bourbon Guild.
And check us out on the Instagrams and on the Facebooks.
Tip your bartenders. Thanks, guys.
All right, Bourbon Guild out.
Instagrams.
Instagram.